You can't talk about Citrus HealthCare without talking about FPG and the shared ownership of Andy Vias and Dr. Vias. Citrus was owned 100% by Andy and Dr. Vias. They owned it. They gave direction to it. They gave medical direction to it. Vias's ownership of Family Physician Group of Winter Park, also known as FPG, was the start of this whole downfall and this entire debacle. Andy Vias had a contract with Humana Health Plan. He had 11,000 members with Humana Health Plan. And he had that contract for about 10 years. June 30th, 2008, Humana Health Plan terminated FPG. Their reason for termination, as noted in their letter, was that they believed Andy Vias owned Citrus Health Plan, and that FPG was systematically moving Humana members from Humana Health Plan on to Citrus Health Plan. Andy Vias was paid approximately $105 for every member every month from Humana, and Humana was losing thousands of dollars due to this bait and switch, essentially. Andy Vias promptly filed an injunction against Humana Health Plan, trying to stop the termination of the contract because Andy Vias would lose 11,000 members if the contract is terminated. What was happening on the flip side was that Andy Vias was giving direction to Citrus HealthCare on switching members from Humana onto Citrus in case the contract did end up terminating and there was no resolution to it. I don't know who tipped off Humana that Andy Vias owned Citrus, but Andy Vias had a non-compete contained within his Humana contract, which prohibited him from competing against a health plan that he was participating with. So whatever investigation was taking place in Humana, I have no idea. I don't know who the initial resource was to prompt the cancellation of the contract. It is not the first time there was an accusation of Andy's ownership. Andy's ownership was broadly known. I was informed by Andy Vias directly that he owned Citrus Health Plan. I was informed from Upen Patel that Andy was the owner of Citrus Health Plan. There's many people that were aware of that. In fact, a Citrus employee named Diane Norcross filed a lawsuit against Citrus, and contained within that lawsuit in Hillsborough County is an allegation that Andy Vias is lying to the state and federal governments about his ownership of Citrus Health Plan. So that lawsuit was promptly settled out of court to prohibit any further disclosure of Andy Vias's ownership of Citrus Health Plan. It was never owned by Kishore Ranadive. In fact, if you look at who benefited the most, you will see that Citrus Health Plan sent the majority of monies to Family Physicians Group. Not only that, there's solvency requirements for every health plan. So a percentage of unpaid claims has to be sent back to the state through a specific formula for solvency requirements. That solvency money went from an FPG account controlled by Larry Smith to Citrus Health Plan, and then from Citrus Health Plan to the state of Florida, the OIR, the Office of Insurance Regulation. It did not go from Kishore to Citrus. It went from FPG to Citrus. At one point, I was leaving Citrus Health Plan because it was chaotic. Andy Vias was giving direction. Upen Patel, as the CEO, was giving direction. Andy Vias's wife was giving medical direction. Had Citrus employees physically located at Andy's building at FPG, only calling and doing case management on FPG account, paid for through Citrus Health Plan. Everything was about making sure FPG looked profitable. So at some point, Humana's lawyers in Miami got in touch with me, and a subpoena was issued. And that subpoena entailed me talking about the ownership of Citrus Health Plan. I was supposed to testify October 3rd. However, Andy Vias, during that time, filed a lawsuit on September 29th, claiming that I was racketeering against him. He made me look like I was the Mafia and had me arrested to prevent me from testifying October 3rd in this deposition. Everything about this lawsuit was a fraud. It was never prosecuted. It never moved forward. Additionally, he put a lien against my house so that during that arrest, I couldn't make bond. Andy Villa orchestrated this for an arrest. He and his wife knew that Citrus was completely owned by them. We attended meetings down in FPG where his wife, who was a physician, gave direction to Upen Patel on how to handle medical management at a health plan. But it didn't stop there, because during the course of all of these investigations, Andy Villas told the United States Attorney and FBI agent Ed Ortega that he was just a consultant for Citrus, that he didn't have any ownership. He went so far as to alter and delete emails and submit those emails as authentic. But he made a mistake. He made a big mistake. The emails Andy Villas deleted didn't just come from me, but they came from people that he didn't tell he deleted their emails. He didn't inform them. He didn't contact them. So through our journalists and investigators and attorneys on this, we reached out to some of them to find out if they authored some of these emails. Andy Villas submitted documents to the court that were fabricated. Everybody knew Andy Villas owned Citrus Health Plan. No one came forward.